In the quiet village of Mavalani, where mornings smelled of wet soil and evenings hummed with crickets, lived a young woman named Werimu. She grew up believing in love, in faith, and in the strength of building a life with someone you chose. So when she met Karanja, a handsome, hard-working young man with a kind smile, she thought God had finally answered her prayers. Their wedding was the talk of the village, bright, hopeful, the kind that made old women nod with approval and whisper, "These two will go far." For the first few years, life was exactly that, full of soft laughter, shared dreams, and the warmth of a small but peaceful home. They were blessed with 3 children, Mwangi, Njeri, and Wambui. But life has its seasons. One year, Karanja lost his job at a local hardware shop. At first, he hid his stress behind silence, then behind excuses, then behind the bottle. A sip became a habit became a routine, and a routine became a monster that swallowed the man Werimu had once loved. Karanja turned into a stranger. He came home late, smelling of cheap liquor and regret. He stopped providing for the family. No school fees, no food support, not even the simplest interest in the children's lives. Werimu, once his beloved partner, became the target of his frustrations. He insulted her in front of the children, calling her useless, worthless, and many things too ugly for young ears. Some nights, when the bottle controlled him completely, he shoved her or slapped her, then slept on the sofa snoring loudly as if nothing had happened. The children would cry silently in their shared bedroom, huddled together, while Werimu cleaned her wounds and whispered prayers to God. But she stayed, not because she was weak, but because she was strong in a way the world rarely understood. She said to herself, "My children will not suffer because of his choices. I will hold this home together until they can stand on their own." Werimu took up laundry work for wealthy families in the town. She woke up at 4 a.m., walked long distances carrying heavy bundles, and returned home late to cook for her children. She skipped meals so they could eat. She mended their uniforms at night and told them stories to cover the sound of their father's insults when he staggered into the house. Despite the chaos, she taught them discipline, kindness, and the power of education. "Your father has lost his path," she would say gently, "but you must never lose yours. Rise higher than this pain. Let it be your fuel, not your chain." And the children listened. They studied by the dim light of a kerosene lamp. They avoided the noise of their father's drunken episodes. They comforted their mother when she silently cried into a wet handkerchief. They grew up faster than most children, but they grew up wiser too. Years passed. Hard years. Years that stretched Werimu's strength to its limits. By God's grace and her unshakable determination, Mwangi finished school and earned a scholarship to study engineering. Njeri, inspired by her mother's resilience, became a nurse. Wambui excelled in business and later opened a successful boutique. Step by step, they rose from the ashes of their painful childhood. And one quiet afternoon, when Mwangi drove home in a shiny new car, the neighbors stood outside their gates, whispering in pride, "Werimu's children have made it." Karanja, older now, his body weakened by decades of alcohol, watched from the doorway, eyes filled with regret, but also something else. Shame, yes, but also wonder. How had the woman he tormented raised such greatness? One evening, after a family dinner, Mwangi stood up and said, "Mum, everything we are today we owe to you. You carried this family alone. You sacrificed your youth, your dreams, and your comfort so we could become something. You are our hero." Njeri placed her hand on her mother's shoulder. "If Dad had not changed, you still remained our safe place. We love you deeply, Mum. And today we want to honor you." They gave her a small gift, a key to a new house they had built for her. A peaceful place, far away from the noise, where she could finally breathe, rest, and live without fear. Werimu cried. Not the tears of pain she had shed for years, but the tears of a woman whose story had finally reached the light. Later, even Karanja, older, trembling, and carrying the weight of his mistakes, knelt beside her. "Werimu, forgive me. I destroyed what God gave me, but you rebuilt everything with your bare hands. I'm ashamed, but I thank you for raising our children well." She looked at him with calm eyes. "I forgave you a long time ago, Karanja. Your darkness never stopped God's plan for me or these children." And in that moment, her healing began fully.